Peru is so mineral rich and so vastly unexplored. That's where you find the game-changing discoveries. That's where you find the world attention on discoveries like this, because that's the location you're going to do it.
Here at the StockPulse Silver Symposium, we've got Peter Dembicki. He is the CEO of Tier 1 Silver, TSLV in the venture, TSLVF in the OTC market, in the States. Peter, I appreciate you making the trip all the way down here from Canada. So we're talking silver, we're talking gold, and we're talking Peru. For those not familiar, why don't you give them a little update and a little background on the company? And of course, the company's only as good as a front man, so lay out your background too, please.
All right, so I am the president and CEO of Tier 1 Silver. Tier 1, I guess, to really capture, what we're really about. We're a really aggressive exploration company. Our assets are based in Peru. Our flagship asset, Curibaya, has a 20 square kilometer footprint of extreme bonanza grades, emanating to every border of this 20 square kilometer footprint. And we are at our infancy of putting the first ever drill holes into the ground. And I'm talking first ever in the history of this project. No one has ever drilled this before. So when you have the grade, the scale, and the address that we do, it really leads people to think and to hope that we could have a potential true world-class discovery in our hands.
Yeah, how did this come to be? You said never been drilled before. There's Peru is a pretty nice place to be drilling here, so very friendly. Talk about how this kind of came to be.
So the assets were acquired from our former parent company, Oren Resources, which October of about 12 months ago spun out into 3 separate companies. Fury Gold, which hosts our Canadian assets, Sombrero, which is a large copper play, also in Peru, and Tier 1 Silver, which we didn't know a lot about when it spun out, and even when I joined the company. But as everything came about, the results were just incredible. And so if you look at where we're situated in the south of Peru, we are amongst the giants. You have some of the largest producers like Cerro Verde, Tocopala, Quellaveco, Cajone, that are literally 40 kilometers to our north. And then there's a gap, and then they start up again in the north of Chile. And so people have been looking over this area for years, looking to find that next copper porphyry, and they couldn't find it based on any kind of surface work they were doing. However, our geologists, and I give all the credit to our technical team, especially Dave Smithson, who wanted to stick with this project for a long time, they employed a technique that allowed them to look for a precious metal system. And sure enough, the grades were phenomenal. And I think that's one thing that really sets us apart in Peru, is that we're in amongst these big copper gold producers, but we potentially have one of the largest silver, gold, precious metal systems along this copper belt. And people obviously look at that and they go, well, these grades are phenomenal. Your footprint is insane. Obviously the neighbors that you have are incredible as well. Everything is leading to it, but is there a chance of that porphyry as well? And according to some of very high caliber experts looking at our project so far, they go, we think it's down there too. So we potentially have both. And for right now, our goal and our thesis is to drill out high grade. Grade is king, grade's gonna bring the attention, but as we follow that grade down, we're gonna follow it down to the source, and who knows what we're gonna find.
Yeah, let's get into how we're gonna find it here. So investors like action. You just laid out a lot of work here that's gonna be done probably. So why don't you give them an idea here of what you're gonna be doing here at the end of the year.
So as far as Curibaya is concerned, we just started drilling. We're a few holes in. I believe today we're maybe halfway through our 6th hole. And so we are at our infancy. And I talk a lot, at this conference about being at this inflection point. There's a lot of high quality companies here that have had that discovery. They've made that discovery. Now they're working on proving it out. And that's exciting in its own, because that could take on another level for that company. But as far as we're concerned, we haven't had that massive discovery hit yet. We strongly believe it's coming, and it's coming soon. And so, this is what gets people excited. This is what gets people thinking, okay, let's look at what happened to Vizsla. Let's look at what happened to BlackRock back in the day. And how did that come to me? Well, investors made out really well with that. Curibaya is about to get there, and Tier 1 as well. And then, so we're gonna have drill results coming fast and furious throughout the fall, throughout the winter. And then we got some great news lately is our second kind of flagship project that we don't like to use flagship term anymore because we got 2 of them. But it was a project we've been working on acquiring for a year and a half, and we just got granted access. And in Peru, if you know the climate, Getting access, getting community agreements in place to allow us to start to work is huge. It's actually easier than getting a government permit at some stages. And so now we can go for it. Now we can start working there and building Hurricane up as well. So now our investors have exposure to 2 potential world-class swings. And that's what we're about. We're going big, really big.
We just laid out a bunch of reasons to follow you, but if you want to maybe consolidate that message, and there's a lot of other opportunities out here, you've got a good one here. Talk to investors here about why they should be part of Pure One.
You know, I always like researching old material and taking advice from seasoned veterans that have had a lot of success. And there's a fellow by the name of Rick Rule, who everyone knows quite well in this sector. And you know, I was watching a video of his from a few years ago, and he talks about the odds are against you in exploration. 1 in 5,000 discoveries might become a mine. So how do you reduce those odds, or turn those odds in your favor and reduce the risk? 1, investing in people. Have management, have the technical team, have they been a part of a major discovery before? And are they on the same track? Well, in the case of Tier 1 Silver, yes. We have Sean and Ivan, our co-founders, our chairman, have had multiple exits. Our technical team involved in Keegan and Caden, multiple exits for the public market and for investors to have huge returns. So as far as people's concerned, check, that box is done. Second one was, sometimes you gotta go off the beaten path a little bit. So I'm talking, maybe it's not in your backyard in Vancouver or in the US in Nevada. It's incredible to find a quality asset because these areas have been so overexplored. And to find something that's new and world-changing is really difficult. So sometimes you need to go to a country that's not as explored. And a lot of times that brings on some risk. Okay, and we've experienced a little bit of that with the Peruvian political climate, which seems to be really ironed out at this point. And Peru is so mineral rich and so vastly unexplored. That's where you find the game-changing discoveries. That's where you find the world attention on discoveries like this, because that's the location you're going to do it. And we feel like we have 2 of those opportunities right in front of us for investors to get a couple opportunities. So yeah, there's a reason why we use big language. There's a reason why I become overpassionate. I feel like I'm going to fall out of my seat sometimes. It's because I truly do believe we're on track to make these discoveries, and it's exciting.
Yeah. Market's been a little rough. Nothing you can do about that. You keep working hard, and we'll look forward to tracking your success. That's Peter Dembicki. He's the CEO, Tier 1 Silver, TSLV Venture, TSLVF, the OTC in the States. Peter, thanks for the time, and I look forward to tracking your results when you get it.
Thanks for having me.